studies such as for coursework or thesis. I'm Nova Indah, librarian UGM, will become your moderator today and accompany you all to exploring Osiris database with our outstanding speaker, Miss Alexandra Apit, who is dedicated as a personal assistant from Osiris to UGM. This session will be conducting in English. I hope all participants can listen to serious, relax from beginning until the end of this session. And I will say hello to Miss Alexandra Apit. Hello, Miss Alexa, how are you?
Hi, good morning, good Nova. Good
Can you
morning,
unmute
everyone.
your mic? We couldn't hear.
I'm already
You still
um
unmute.
I'm already unmute.
Tim bisa dibantu unmute Miss Alexa?
Yes.
I can hear Miss Alexa.
Oh, Miss Alexa? You
I
still
believe
unmute. We couldn't hear your voice.
Yes, we can hear Miss Alexa voice, Mbak Nova.
Oke, teman-teman kita tunggu ya. Sepertinya ada masalah di mic-nya Miss Alexa.
We are ready here.
they can hear me. I
Yeah.
believe.
Sudah cukup jelas,
I can
Bu.
hear you.
Oke.
Yes, we
Yes,
can hear
clear.
Miss
Oke,
Alexa.
ternyata yang bermasalah di sound saya. I'm sorry, the sound is on mine, not on yours, Miss Alexa. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Oh yeah, no worries.
Okay, I'll continue. And for your information, Miss Alexandra Apit graduated from Ateneo de Davao University, Philippines as a Bachelor of Commerce in Management Accounting. Miss Alexandra Apit has special skills as a commercial renewal specialist from Moody's Analytics. Moody's Analytics provide financial intelligence and analytical tools to help business leaders make better, faster decisions. And you could check her profile on LinkedIn. And don't forget, participants, if you have any question, you can write on the chat box or raise hand, and Miss Alex will answer after the end of her session. And now throughout the workshop, we encourage you to the notes and hold on to any question you might have until the end. We aim to answer as many questions as possible in the allocated Q&A time. And we will share the feedback, the form feedback that we will be distributed shortly. The team will chat on the chat box, will write on the chat box on the form feedback. And your feedback is important for us, improve our future event. Jangan lupa teman-teman nanti mengisi form kuesioner yang akan kita bagikan jadi perbaikan event selanjutnya. Dan nanti jika ada pertanyaan silahkan ditulis di kolom di chat box ya, dituliskan atau nanti raise hand. Dan without any further, let's dive into today's workshop with Miss Alexandra Apit. The time is yours, Miss Alexa, for 60 minutes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nova. Thank you, everyone. Good morning, and thank you for taking your time to join the Osiris training today. I know it's a Saturday, it's a weekend, but here we are. Thank you for spending your morning with me. As mentioned, I will be spending about 1 hour to show you Osiris and how you can use it for your research and maybe other researches that was used or that cited Osiris. I can put it later. Okay, let me just share my screen. So before we go into Osiris itself, I just want to do a bit of a short introduction of my company and what we have been doing. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yes, Miss Alexa,
okay.
it's clearly.
Yeah, okay. So let me just, okay. So Moody's. So I'm actually part of Moody's. So Moody's has two branches. There's Moody's Investor Services and there's Moody's Analytics. While I'm doing the presentation, I think it's best if I just turn off my video so that we don't consume too much bandwidth. Okay, so there's the Moody's Investor Services, which is the rating side. Maybe you have heard of Moody's as a ratings company, alongside with S&P, Fitch. So that is one of the business of the Moody's corporate group. And then on the other side, we have the Moody's Analytics, where I belong. So we specialize on financial intelligence. So we actually think of ourselves as an integrated risk assessment company, or so because we provide a lot of different tools, information, data that can help businesses, banks, large corporations to um, to assess their risk and to mitigate potential risks in the future, forecast and understand, what are their current risks. I think I won't do the slide because it seems like it's lagging. Okay. In Moody's Analytics, we try to focus on, there are a few focus points or capabilities that we have. We have the credit and financial risk. We have the predictive analytics, because we collect a lot of data, which is about companies, large corporations, private and listed, like what you have currently in Osiris. So this is the kind of data that we collect, which helps our clients to do some data management, business development, of course, tax and transfer pricing, which we have a lot of revenue. We have a lot of clients, actually, particularly in Indonesia, for our tax and transfer pricing solutions. Even the Digiti Indonesia is one of our clients. We also have the Bank of Indonesia, Central Bank of Indonesia is also our client. And then insurance and structured. So these are just types of capabilities that we have. And of course, because of that, because we have all of these data, then the academics, our university clients also come in, because you have a lot of, academic researchers that can use information on trade credit, can do some market research based on financial analysis, can do some trend analysis looking at financials of companies, right? I myself came from Bureau van Dijk. So Bureau van Dijk was a different company before, but back in 2017, Moody's Analytics acquired Bureau van Dijk. So I am part of Bureau van Dijk first, before Bureau van Dijk, and then Bureau van Dijk was acquired by Moody's back in 2017. And Osiris, which is what you're subscribing now, is actually a legacy product of Bureau van Dijk. So one of the reasons why a big company such as Moody's Analytics was interested to buy Bureau van Dijk is because of our company data. So that includes Osiris and most especially Orbis, which is our mother database. So I just want to show you, these are some of the awards that we have. This is not only for Osiris, but as a company itself for Moody's Analytics. So this just assures you that, you are dealing with a company that is very serious when it comes to our business, when it comes to financial crime, when it comes to banking, strategy, insurance. So this is what we do when it comes to data and information. And that is why we have all those accolades and awards. Okay. Coming down to Osiris itself and what we do in Bureau van Dijk, which is now part of Moody's Analytics. We are a wholly owned subsidiary. We don't separate ourselves from Moody's Analytics. So what we actually do is we try to collect data, not just from listed companies, but also from private companies. So currently, if you see here that we have 425 million, is because Osiris is part of a bigger database, right? But as a whole, the whole process is to capture data from different countries, whether it be private companies and publicly listed companies. And then those data that we capture, we deliver them in 3 different ways. So we have the interface, which is what you are currently using. So you have the Osiris interface. And then we have the Catalyst. Most of the clients using Catalyst are banks and are mostly banks, actually, or large corporations. And then we also
Miss Apit, sorry for the interrupt. Could you please make slide slow into presentation to get clear?
Okay, sure. I
The
can.
slideshow, yes.
Sorry, this one.
The slideshow to
Oh,
get clear.
but when I use the slideshow, it actually lags earlier.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I use the slideshow, it okay. Now I think it's okay.
Okay, it's clear.
Okay, so we have 3 different delivery. So one is the interface, which is like what you're currently using, Osiris. We also have Bank Focus, which I'm not sure if you have heard before. And then we have the via Catalyst. Most of the users of Catalyst are professional services, banks, and large corporations. And you can also get our data via bulk, so like API. So these are like really large consumptions of data. So Osiris itself, of course, this is not just for Osiris, but this is as a whole how we get our data. We capture data from different sources. Like we can capture it from regulatory sources, for example, Securities and Exchange Commissions, for example, central bank, for example, the tax authorities, and sometimes from credit bureaus. So we have sometimes industry research, which I believe you also have an access via Osiris. For industry research, we partner with we partner with MarketLine. Some of our partners is also Global Data, and we also have the Moody's industry research. We also capture news. We have mergers and acquisitions information. We have company overviews, company financials, royalty agreements, and then we treat all those data and aggregate all those data. We try to link all the different sources, link who are the directors from this company, which might also be a director from another company, or who are the shareholders of this company in Indonesia, which could also be a shareholder of another company in Japan. So we integrate all those information, we link all those information, and we deliver it to you, to our users via interface, which is like Osiris, via Catalyst, or by API in bulk, right? But I know you can see so many of this, but in different types of subscription, it doesn't mean that everything will come with marine vessels information, original documents, because we know that some of our clients do not really need all of this. So these are more like modular module. So the database itself is modular. You only add or deduct what is needed. So later we can go into your Osiris subscription and see which information is available and which ones are not. Okay. And yeah, so this is just the same. So like what I was saying, Osiris is a part of our bigger database. So this is Osiris, actually the green, and our biggest one database is Orbis, because we are collecting data. We collect data not just for listed companies. So globally, there's only about, I think now is more than 84,000 definitely, but this is the fraction. If you look at the ratio, this is the green one, the green dot is the listed companies, which is what you have in Osiris. And there's about 400 million plus private companies. Now, you might say, why is it that you are not subscribing to the global database? Because it depends. Sometimes the type of research, because it's private company, not unlike listed companies where data is available because they are required to disclose their information, their shareholders, their financials. Private companies, even though we say we have about 400 million, especially for Indonesia, let's say, if a country were limited by regulation, so like for example in Indonesia where there is no regulation that all private companies should disclose their financials, their shareholders, their information on directors and managers, and they might not be available. So every client will look at our solutions and check, oh, okay, this might help for us. This we only want listed company data because you can get better maybe because you want to focus your research on listed companies, because those countries where you are interested in, like for example Indonesia, there's no information anyways for private companies. So we collect information on banks. We have insurance companies, of course, some, but a fraction will be for sole proprietors. We also have information on directors and managers, could be past and present, and beneficial owners, and shareholders, the individual shareholders or company shareholders, as well as subsidiaries. Okay. I think I don't need to dwell so much on all this information. For today, we will cover Osiris, and first we will start off with Osiris coverage, and then we will be looking at the settings, search criteria. So we will follow this format. Okay, how to search a list of companies, how to save a set of companies, how to look at several data or data points about several companies in one table, company report, understanding the company report, understanding the financial sources and our financial formats, how to use Osiris in doing peer comparison. And we will also look at your industry research module, global reports module, and then later I will give out our help desk or our help zone area, email address, and then if we still have time, I can show other solutions that we currently offer within Moody's Analytics. Okay, and this slide is actually just to show you some sample researchers that used or cited Osiris in their research. So I tried to look for research or journals that mentioned Osiris or cited Osiris. So these are just 1, 2, 3 examples, and another 1, 2, and 3. So I only gathered about 6. I only looked for the more recent researches. Okay. So that's it for my introduction. We will now go into Osiris itself. But before that, may I know if you have all received your usernames and passwords? Because yesterday, I actually created access, because Nova was very good enough to share all your email addresses so that I can create username and password. So by right, you should have received an email automated email actually from our system, providing you with your username and password so that you may be able to log into Osiris today and join me in exploring Osiris. Although there is a limit, only the first 70 participants is able to log in, but at least let me know if you guys received the username and password so that you can also log into Osiris with me.
Yes, Miss Alexa. The participant already received their account, Osiris account, but some of them didn't receive the password, like Imam or Alif, Imam, Novi.
Okay, wait.
Some of them didn't receive their password, but user ID they received.
Huh? User ID they received, but the password they didn't.
Yes, but we need to confirm them first. Maaf teman-teman, apakah sudah kita konfirmasi sebelum kita akan memulai Osirisnya, praktek Osiris, sudah menerima semua ya?
Sudah Bu, jadi kalau yang belum ada password bisa reset, itu di bagian bawah emailnya bisa di reset Bu.
Okay. Okay, Miss Alexa, they already received the email and the account and password.
Yeah, because okay, good. So at least about 70 of you can go and log into Osiris with me, and then we can explore Osiris together. Okay, so let me share my screen for Osiris. Yeah. Okay, so this is Osiris. Let me try if I can create a spotlight. Okay. And then, okay, there. Oh, there's no spotlight then. Okay, so for everyone, I hope you're all already logged into Osiris. So this is the landing page. Once you log in, enter your username and password. So this is how Osiris looks like. On the upper left, it shows you where you are. Currently, you are in companies information. And then as you can see here, there's news, but it is disabled, which means that this is not part of the subscription. And then later you have industry research, which is also enabled, and then royalty agreement. So anything that is disabled means you are not able to access. And then on the upper right hand, you have alerts. You have the settings. Alerts is actually if you want to get alerted about any change in a specific company. So for example, if you are trying to monitor a company, and then let's say you want to be alerted about maybe change in their financials, if there's a new financial of there was a change in a director or in their shareholders, then alerts will be used. You can use alerts. Settings, this is where you set all your settings. For example, for those new who just recently opened their access, I think it's very important that we do the settings first. The most important one will be the currency. So I think we can go into user preference, because by default, the currency is limited. So if you look at this, there's only few currencies. So later when you look at one company and you try to to check their financials, then you say, oh, but I want to look at it in Indonesian rupiah or in Japanese yen, especially if it's a Japanese company, for example. But there's no option for Indonesian rupiah, for example, because that is because of your setting. It is unlimited, limited. So click on complete list so that you will have the list of complete currency. Okay, you can do all your settings and then click on finish. So settings, as for everything, you can set all your things here, ownership, reports, right? But we only have about 1 hour, so we won't dwell. I know everybody knows how to use settings. We all have settings. Phones have settings, laptops have settings. And then help. This is a very important section, so I hope everyone will remember. Help is actually before, of course, we have our help desk. You can email our help desk. You can email me. But before you email, then I hope you explore the help section. So in our help section, we actually show you what is the coverage, for example. So this coverage itself shows you a lot of things. Board of directors from each country, from each region, executive board, how many financials we cover. You can export everything in Excel. Okay. You can go into all companies, how many per country. So at least if you want to know the coverage, it's already in the help section. And then most importantly is the user guide. So user guide is very important because even I myself has been using Osiris for more than 5 years. I always go back to the user guide. So it is all here. Some of our clients say, do you have a PDF format or hard copy? No, it's better that it's online because the data, there's just too much information actually. So here you can use this table of contents here to find information about a specific topic. But most importantly, let me just hide this floating. Most importantly, I cannot hide this. Most importantly, you can actually use the search where you can actually key in keywords. I think my screen is too small. Okay. You can key in keywords here and say, I want to understand, because we have two types of templates, or you want to understand more about ownership.
Excuse me, Ms. Alex. I think your
Yes.
screen is frozen. We're not
Oh.
seeing any movement on your side. Can you
Oh.
please refresh the share
Oh,
screen?
really? Wait, yeah. Shares. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, thank
We
you.
are on the, so you didn't see my user guide, is it? I mean, where I click the user guide. Okay. We are here, and then alerts is here, settings is here, right? User preferences. And then from here is very important that you choose complete list so that later when you're looking at companies, you want to look at their financials, then you can choose the currency that you want, not just the limited number of currencies. And then most importantly is the help section. You have the coverage here. So in the coverage, you can, it will actually show you, let's say, how many companies that we have per country. And then you can look at the breakdown, how many information we have for directors and managers per region or per country. So you can check our coverage section later. And then we also have the user guide. It's very important that you use our user guide. So can you see the user guide? There's a new window that popped up. Okay. These are, if you want to look for information about a specific topic, you can use the table of contents here, like list settings, report settings, right? Understanding the report format, how to delete a previously saved format, viewing search results, or you can also use the search functionality here and then type in a keyword. List view, for example. You want to understand how to do a list view. And then click OK, and then the system will show you different topics that might actually be what you're looking for. So list formats, for example. Click on list format, and then you have all the help that you might need, how to create a new list format, how to modify a list format, how to save a list. So I think we try to put everything in one user guide, but of course, you can always feel free to email me if you think that you know, oh, I cannot find what I'm looking for in the user guide. So yes. And then you also have this functionality here, which is quick tour. So in the quick tour section, we have about 4 short videos, about 4-minute, 5-minute, 6-minute videos that will help you in basic searching, list, creating your own list, creating your statistical analysis, understanding or making a report. So these are short videos that you may check also later, right? Osiris is, there are too many that you cannot really explore in 1 hour, but we will try to do it, condense everything. So there's also tips of the day. There are a few tips when viewing a list. So we have this on a daily basis. And for contacts, please do not contact anybody because it will directly go to our London office. So later I will give you my email address. Okay, so that's on the upper part portion. And now, just looking at the screen, this box here is like when you just Google something, but this is Google for publicly listed companies. So when you're looking for a listed company, you can type in the name here. For example, I just type in Tricomcel, and then the system will give you options. If we have a lot of companies that has the same name as Tricomcel, then they will all come out here. But in this case, there's only one Tricomcel within Osiris. So you can click that. Once I click this, then you will be diverted into the company report for Tricomcel. So that's just the very straightforward way of using, just looking for one company and then you see the company report. But what is more, where we add value is not on looking for one company, but actually looking for a group of companies that may adhere to specific criteria, right? Because sometimes if you don't have that database, then how do you search? You Google one by one. Okay, so now this is our table here. These are the different filters that you can use to search for different groups of companies. So let's say, for example, you want to do a research about a specific industry, limited to specific countries, right? And maybe limited to whatever information, either country, industry, or characteristics of their directors. We have that information, whether they are active or currently in or dissolved. So it's also there. Or if their ownership, or are they independent, or do they have shareholders that own them more than 50%? So you can use several filters to come up with a list of companies. Or maybe you can say, I want to look for companies in this specific field that has a declining declining total assets for the past 3 years. So you can also use that, or based on specific key ratios, for example, or only those companies that has annual reports, or only those companies that has local registry filings. Or if you want to search for listed companies or all companies from a specific stock exchange, I want to search for companies from Indonesia Stock Exchange. Or maybe you also have large companies. So these currently Osiris, if you look at all companies, we have about 121,000 companies inside. Not all of them will be listed companies. It's because, there are some very big listed companies, and then they became delisted, and then we still retain them in Osiris due to request from our clients. So if I want to look at who are my listed companies out of the 121, I can use that filter, listed or unlisted. I filter by publicly listed companies only. Currently, I have about 68,000. Then you can say, maybe I want to look at listed companies from a specific country. Then you can filter by location. Okay, but those are the basic search. So let's say, for example, I am here. I want to do a research about. First, I want to identify which industry I want to make research on. So I go into industry. Now I know already there are different choices you can make. Do you want to search by textual search, by type of entities? If you say type of entities, let's say I want to look at commercial banks, or I want to look at corporate companies. Let's say under corporate companies, I want to look at companies that are in energy section or in communication services. But for me, let's say I want to look at using industry classification. So we have 3 major industry classifications. We have the NAICS, we have the NAICS, and USSIC. USSIC is from the US industry classification. NAICS, I believe, is North America, and the other one is Europe, NAICS. Okay, so for example, I'm using NAICS. We can just say, let's say I want to look, for my research, I want to look at companies now that are into manufacture of computer and electronic and optical products, right? Then I click OK. So as you can see, I can also untick this or delete this first line, because I don't want to limit on just maybe listed companies. So we start with 6,000. Wait, let me just. Okay, for example, I clear everything first. We go into industry classifications. We identify the industry that we want to do research on. So let's say it's manufacture of company and electronic products. So as you can see out here, there's primary codes and all codes. So what does it mean? So when a company actually registers for business, right? They will say, this business is primarily doing this. But they might also venture into another type of business, that will be like the secondary code. So it's not their primary form of business. So for me, for example, I just want to look for companies which disclose that this is their primary form of business. Then I click OK. After that, I have my list of companies. So from 68 listed companies to about 3,873 having this industry, part of this industry. And then I can say, I want to filter by location. I don't want to do global. I only want to look at specific countries. So you can choose by region, or you can choose by countries itself here. You can pick each region or country, or type the region or country above. For this example, I will just go immediately with Far East and Central Asia. Then I click OK. So I'm now down to 2,000. Then let's say what you're looking for are companies with specific key, with specific financial movements for the past 3 years. So I go into financial data, and then I say, I want to look at, instead of values, I want to look at variations. So any growth rate or rate of decline, right? And then I say, you can choose whether you want to look at ratios or whether you look at key financials. So let's say in the key financials, I want to look at their operating revenue this is in thousands USD. I want to look at what happened to their operating revenue in 2023, 2022, 2021. And then I want to look at variations. Any company that grew 5%, between 5% minimum, you can put a maximum, or you can just say nothing. So we just put minimum there. For all selected years, all the 3 years, or you can just say at least 1 year. So let's say if I choose all selected years, I'm not sure what happens. So let's say I choose 4 years. So what I'm saying is I want to look for companies that has a minimum growth of 5% based on their operating revenue for all years. So every year they grew about minimum 5%. Click OK. Okay, so there's only one. Yeah, because who grew during the pandemic, right? Okay, so this is just one example. Or you can change this and say, at least for 1 year. So it really depends. And how do you even imagine if you're looking for that information, which companies from this specific industry, from that country, grew 5% minimum on number of years? How do you even start doing that if you don't have a database such as Osiris, right? So let's say I have 2,272, and then let's do something else. Let's say, I want to look at, out of these companies, I want to look at their board of directors. And then different characteristics, right? So you can say, I want to look at the board of director that came from Indonesia. So out of the 2,000, which companies have directors and managers that came from Indonesia? You can even filter by age, or you can even filter by senior management only, or boards and committees only, for example. Let's say I want to look at those that are in the executive and supervisory board, male or female, as long as they are from Indonesia. What happened?
Ya, siap fotografer.
Maybe I will just untick this. Let's say as long as they are from Indonesia. And I have 9 companies, right? So what we are saying is I'm looking at listed companies that are into computer and engineering, and then that are located in Far East and Central Asia, that has at least increased 5% based on operating revenue, at least for 1 year among all the selected years here, and that they have a director or manager that came from Indonesia. So there's 9. So here, you can actually save this search strategy, because let's say maybe you want to go back later and do the same search strategy. So you can, from here, you can save this and say, I want to save the search strategy. Okay, so you can say my search, which is 15 July. So if there are 2 sides, you save on the left side. If I save on the left side, it becomes a file here. Show in folder. So it becomes a file actually. Then you can send that as an email to your colleague and say, oh, you can load this file instead of letting them copy the search strategy. And then now you can view your search results. Or, sorry, you can actually save and then my search and then click on the right side. If I say save on the right side, it will be saved within Osiris itself and it will come out on this section, saved searches. So your search will be here. So every time you log back in, you can go and load this search strategy. Okay. So going back, we want to view now who are these 9 companies. So this is your search strategy. Who are these 9 companies? You go and click view list of results. So these are your 9 companies. Not all of them definitely are from Indonesia because our filter is anywhere from Far East and Central Asia, but it means that they have a director or manager that is from Indonesia. So one of their director or one or more. So these are the countries. Here, this is what we call as a table format. So when we do a group study, for example, a study of a group of companies, sometimes we don't really, we definitely want to see all the data in a table format. So if these are the data points that you need, then it's fine. But if these are not the information that you need, then you just need to click on add here or click on columns here. So you can click add. After you click add, earlier you have the different columns, right? So these were the columns earlier. If this is not what you want to see, then untick everything. So this is gone. And then from on the left side, you can choose what data points you want to see for all those 9 companies, right? You want to look at their financial information. So which part? Balance sheet, profit and loss. So it's everything here. You can search for it one by one, or if you already know the keyword, you can just type it. So let's say I have 9 companies. Before anything else, I always encourage everybody to look for the BVD ID number. So the BVD ID number is actually the unique identification number that we use for each company. So whenever you say, Alex, I have a question, I feel like the information on this company is wrong, please do not give me the company name. Rather, give me the BVD ID numbers. Because the BVD ID number is unique. However, the company name sometimes can be similar. Okay. So I always put the BVD ID number first. And then after that, maybe I want to say, if I'm looking at those 9 companies, of course, I need to know the country. So you type in the keyword and then click enter, and then you have your options here. So I just say I prefer the country here, not the country code if you're not familiar with country code. And then after that, let's say you want to look for their industry classification. So there's different industry codes and descriptions under the industry view. You can say, I want to look at their industry classification. Primary code, NACE Rev 2, primary code, and then their description, for example. And then you want to go into financial data, okay? So financial data, you want to look at their operating revenue. And then you can select which year, okay? So these are listed companies. So you can choose which one you want to look at, either from the global format or from the detailed format, but I can show you later. So let's say industrial companies, these are you want to look at their assets. So you want to look at their current assets. It's up to you. So for me, I will just choose different items because definitely you can mix and match all the information that you want. So I want to look at operating revenue, turnover. Once you click a specific item, you can actually, the system will prompt you whether you want to see current year, last available year, or specific years. So I always say, by default, this box is ticked. Always untick this. And instead of using relative periods, you use absolute periods. Okay, absolute period. And then we're saying, I want to look at the operating revenue of those 9 companies for 2022, 2021. For example, for 5 years, and in which currency. So by default, my currency is in USD and I want to see it in USD in thousands. You can choose to see it in millions or units, and then click OK. So it is here. And then let's say you want to look at EBITDA in the income statement. So again, the system will ask you which year. So I choose 5 years, and then it is by default USD. But see here, you can also choose by original currency. So you have 9 companies there coming from different countries. You may also choose that you want to look at the original currency. Okay, click OK, and from there you can add more. And here, if you're already happy with this list, for example, with your table, again, you can save your list here. My list, for example. And the same thing, if you save it on the left side, it becomes a file. You can send it to your colleague or and then next time they log into Osiris, then they can just load from here, load from disk, and then drag and drop the file, or click on the right side and it gets saved on Osiris itself, so that next time if you have a list of companies and you want to use the same columns, you don't have to select the same columns again over and over, but you just tick this and all the columns that you have saved before will immediately come on this side. Okay. When you're happy with this, you click on OK. And this is your list, right? This is what you selected. Of course, you can add more. Definitely, you can add a lot more. And let's say if you're happy with this table, you can just export this one. So you can export this in Excel. It says the current list, all companies, and then click on Excel, right? But sometimes, I believe there was a question last time where the user is trying to export maybe like 50,000 companies. And then you have 50,000 rows, and then you're trying to export about another 50 columns. Sometimes the system will actually tell you you cannot export everything at the same time. So that's the limit. There's too many rows and columns combined, so you cannot export everything at the same time. So you will actually export by batch. But anyway, this is how your export looks like. You have your search strategy, when was it exported, and this is how your table would look like. Okay. There. And of course, you can also set alerts. Earlier, I mentioned you can use alert and say, oh, I want to get alerted. So by these companies, I want to set an alert, for example. Save the search. Sorry. This is already the save the company IDs. You need to save the company IDs. So these 9 companies, and then save your company. You can create your file name for your company. So my search. 15 July 23. So what the system is saving is not the search strategy, we already saved it, but the 9 companies here. You want the system to remember these 9 companies. Okay. After that, because you want to be alerted, you can say, I want to be alerted about those 9 companies if there was any change in financial data. There was change in annual accounts or new annual accounts. There was a change in managers, or there was a new any shareholder, any change in shareholder. I want to be alerted. So you can tick on that, and then I want you to email me on this email address. So if there was any change in the 9 companies earlier, you will get an email saying, oh, there was a change on only on the options that you selected on annual accounts or on the shareholders. Okay, so I'll just cancel that. So now here, these 9 companies, after you have done this table, as you can see here, you can also do some sort of analysis within Osiris itself. You can do segmentation. Let's say this is not 9. Let's say this is more than 9. Let's try if I want to untick this, this is just, this is about 2,000 companies, but 9 is too little. Maybe we can go back to home. So this is very flexible. You can change your search strategy. Now, I don't want to look at just 9. I want to look at the top 500 or whoever in the operating revenue. Absolute years, I want to look at 22. Year 2022, I want to look at the top 100 companies, let's say. Click OK. And then after this, out of the top 100, I want to do an analysis. So you can explore this. You want to look at industry, country, industry by turnover, country by turnover, or you want to create a peer analysis based on you can create your own analysis or based on key financials last year. So let's say you want to look at all these 100 companies, and then you want to look at their operating revenue. You want to look at their net income. You want to look at their profit margin, right? What else? Let's say, so there's different forms of analysis that you can look at. Profit. Okay, so for example, just these items, and then you click next. For which years? 2022, 21, 2010. Sorry, 2020. And next. Then you can say table, bar, I don't know. Finish. So you have your 100 companies. You created a peer analysis for your 100 companies using all the line items that you use: operating revenue, net income, profit margin, PL before tax, right? So it is done like very fast and easy for you. Then you have the option, I believe, to pivot this, swap rows and columns. So this is a swapping of the rows and columns, and you have everything on the chart. And again, you can export everything to Excel. Okay. So of course, you can explore all the other analysis available here. And of course, if you're already looking at, this is by group of companies, right? So you're looking at group of companies, you can do different analysis. This is searching by batch, for example. So you're looking at how to search by batch, and you already know how to search by individual companies. And the next is, if we already have these companies, let's say 100, then we now want to understand how, or want to look at how individual company report looks like. So wherever you are, once you have a name of a company, you can actually just click on it and you'll be diverted to the company report. So let's say, for example, I have these 100 companies. I have already exported this table, the list, and I have also exported their peer analysis report, but I also want to look at their individual reports. So you can click on the company name. Then this is your standard company report. So what we have is we provide you with the information, all the information that is available and part of your subscription about this company, about Samsung Electronics. So this is publicly quoted. This is the BVD ID number. It is active. These are the contact information. Okay, legal information. It is a corporation. Date of incorporation. Where is it registered, or with what is its main stock exchange, what is the latest account financials that we have. The number of available years that we have is up to 30 years, which means we have about 30 years of current and historical financials for Samsung. And account is consolidated. Okay, these are the size and main activity and industry. So what you can do when you're on the company report is you can either scroll all the way down, like one by one, because we have a lot of information here. You even see that the company ratings from S&P, from Moody's, from Fitch. So you will know how much is their rating. And then their industry code, you can scroll one by one, or if you already know what you're looking for, you just go into this right side panel here and say, oh, I'm only interested in their financials. So I just want to go directly to their financials. So what you need to do is go in here, financial data. Which financial information you need, you can say global standard or global detailed. So speaking of financial data, there are two types of financial template that we have. One is a global standard format. So the global standard format actually has only about 55 line items. So I click on this. Why do you think we have created the global standard format? So again,
I'm sorry, Miss Alex, your time
yeah.
is 5 minutes left.
Oh, okay. Anyways, 5 minutes. Okay, so we have the global standard format. This is about 55 line items, as you can see. We created this because, again, our database, we also collect private company data, especially in Orbis. So we created a format where you may be able to compare private data versus listed company data. But because these are listed companies in Osiris, if you want to go more detail into their financials, you can go into the global detailed format, which has about 100 plus line items. Then you can fold or unfold everything. And for this company, you have 30 years of financials. Again, you can export everything here. So since I have very limited time, you can just explore everything on the right side panel. Also, if we are looking at this one company, there's one option here on the original documents, global reports. I'm not sure. I just need to confirm if you have access. So under the original documents, global reports, we also input a lot of annual reports or quarterly reports. So as you can see here, we have previous years until the current year. So if you want to look at the current annual report, sorry, I think, this is not part of your subscription. Anyways, but definitely you can just go into their website and download. So another information is, since you're looking at this one company, maybe you're interested to know if there is any study about this industry where Samsung is actually part of. So you can go into research. I think industry research here, and then go to market line. And then you can say where this company is mentioned or where this company operates in this industry. What you want to know is to understand, or if we have any research about where this industry actually operates. So global IT hardware in South Korea. As of 2023, we also have as of 2022. And then you can click on that. And you can also download this information. So this is coming from MarketLine, which is our partner, right? You have information on the market value, market forecast. So these are all available for you as well. You can just download this information and understand, oh, this is already a research done by MarketLine. And this is what they do. They do research on specific industries. So that is if you want to find industry research, if you're already on the company report itself. But let's say what you want to do is really just to find a research about a specific industry, not really looking for companies. So if you log into Osiris, you're not looking for companies, you can just go directly to industry research. So under the industry research, you can search for here, industry research. Let's say, oh, I just want to know if MarketLine has any industry research about a specific company. So here you can go into search on industry profile, go to industry. Let's say textile. Okay. Finishing of textile, for example. Or manufacture, how about we go for manufacture of food products easier. Then click OK. Then geographical scope. I can say I want in Asia Pacific. Or you can also say, let's see if there is one in Indonesia. If there was any research done for Indonesia. View list of results. And as you can see, let's say there's bakery and cereals, cat care in Asia, confectionery in Asia Pacific, hot drinks in Asia Pacific. So these are pasta and noodles. So these are the types of research that is available. There is research about confectionery in Indonesia done in 2022. And there's also previous research for it, right? And then there's even dairy in Indonesia done in 2023. So Indofood was mentioned, Nestle, PT, Ultrajaya milk industry. And this is already processed research done by MarketLine. You can use this to support your research or just additional information, right? So again, there's so many things within Osiris itself, within your access. You have access until, you definitely have access, but currently, as of this weekend, you have more available access for you. So please do take your time to explore the Osiris database. And if you have questions, again, for anything, try to use the user guide first. But if you think you cannot find the answer to your question, please send your question to help@bvdinfo.com and then copy me. This is my email address. So it's very important you put the help@bvdinfo first, because this is how we actually monitor all the, queries and cases. So just put me in CC. If the question is simple enough, I will reply you immediately. If I think it's a bit more complicated to reply by email, I will reply you and schedule a Zoom call so that I can do a demo for you, for example. Yeah, I think I'm cutting my presentation here, Bu Nova.
Okay, Miss Alex, thank you for wonderful your insightful workshop. And Osiris is a comprehensive database containing financial information, ratings, earning estimated, stock data, holding data, and news about global lease company, banks, and insurance company around the world. Jadi teman-teman dapat memanfaatkan data keuangan baik untuk tugas kuliah maupun tesis di Osiris dapat mencari melalui subjek atau topik dengan sortir nama perusahaan secara spesifik atau berdasarkan nama negara. And Miss Alexa, I'm sure our audience has learned about Osiris today. And audience, you could trial the account until 18 July. And after that, if you want to access Osiris database, you could ask our admin on FEB faculty on Jogja or direct message on Instagram at ugm.jakarta. Now let's open the floor for question from our audience. Please raise hand if you have any question, and Miss Alexa will answer rightly. Will answer right away.
I think there are a few questions in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you still seeing my screen? Oh yeah.
Yes, we
Okay.
still see your screen.
Okay, maybe I'll try for publication using Osiris. We should say in the article that we use Osiris database. Correct?
Yes, question from Miss Hastuti, Doctoral Program Jogja. How to choose data from corporate governance data from Indonesia company? Blah blah blah.
I'm sorry. I'm already trying to answer this first question. So for publication by using Osiris, we should say in the article that we use Osiris database. Yes, because Osiris is from Bureau van Dijk. So usually in the articles, you will what you will see is data is coming from Osiris database of Bureau van Dijk. But because Osiris is under Bureau van Dijk, yeah. And then our access for but those who say the data is only coming from Bureau van Dijk, that is a bit unclear because we have a lot of databases coming from databases under Bureau van Dijk. So you can just say Osiris database from Bureau van Dijk. Our access for time period for both annual and quartal based for listed companies look like reduce every year. Still access 2014 database quarter, but I cannot find it. So I still provide a bit longer. I'm sorry. So what does it mean? Previously, if you look at 2014, you have more quarterly financials, is it? But on the most recent years, you cannot find the preliminary financials. Is that what this question means?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Do you know which company? So we try to provide quarterly financials for as much as possible. But if there was if you're saying that in 2014 you get the quarterly financials, but now in 2023 or 2022 there's no more quarterly financials, correct? So maybe you can let me know which company you're looking at, because by right we should have the quarterly financials also, unless there was a change in data delivery, which I can check. It could be from a specific country. Let's say maybe for now on this specific country we do not receive the quarterly financials anymore. But you can email to me if it's really important so that I can check whether it's only for this specific company or it's for the whole country from where that company is from.
I'm sorry for Miss Alex. Could you please stop share screen so our team could share our screen to show some question from audience.
Oh, okay.
Oke, Mbak Putri, silahkan untuk pertanyaan-pertanyaan dari peserta bisa ditampilkan. Tadi sudah dari Mas Nuk, Mas Nuk belum selesai. Oke, ini dari Hastuti Doctoral Program Jogja. My question is how to choose data corporate governance from Indonesia company, from example number of commissioner independent, number of director meeting for every company for certain period, 21 until 22. Thank you. Okay, Miss Alexa, you could answer right
Indonesian companies, number of commissioner independent. What does commissioner independent mean? Independent.
Miss Hastuti, could you raise your hand or open mic?
Okay, thank you. I mean, it's number of independent commissioners, Miss.
A number of independent commissioners.
Yeah.
When you say independent, I don't think we have that information. We only look at independent companies. So whether they have shareholders that is owning them more than 25% or not, then that's how we define whether they are independent companies. But independent commissioners, what does independent commissioner? They are a commissioner that is
Independency commission. For example, commissioners that come from outside of company, like
they are not
independency
Oh.
commissioners, like or
I
commissioners, like
okay. I believe we don't have independent. So they are commissioners. What we have is directors, managers here. So let's say, let me share my screen.
for specific for corporate governance information, like number of commissioners, number of directors, meeting, like that.
Meetings, no, we don't. Sorry, we don't cover the meetings. So
Okay.
let's say I want to look at Indonesia. I have Indonesia here. I have 863. What I can do is here, managers and directors. Then I can say I want to look at their and then from there I have Indonesia, right? Then I can go and view list of results because this is more like filter. So these are, and then I can click. These are the 863 Indonesian companies. Then I can click. I take out this. I can go to the directors and managers information, and these are the only directors and managers information that we have actually. So what you want is whether they had meetings or not, right? But for us, we can only give you full name. It's because the directors and managers is more like complementary information. So we have the full name, the job title, appointment date, resignation date, current or previous. Is it a current director or a previous director? So
Miss
the
Alex,
gender.
I think it's reflect to the board commissioner. It's reflect to the board. Independent commissioner. I think it's reflect to the board.
Okay, so what I'm saying is it's only these are the only information we have under directors and managers, because we do not really specialize on individual information. So this is more like complementary information, but this is what we can give. For example, for this company, this is the board of director, but whether we know they are independent or not, I don't think so. Yeah. So you can go into the company itself, for example. When you say they are independent, meaning they are not part of the company. Is that what you mean?
Maybe it's about corporate governance data. Osiris have that data? Have that data? Corporate governance?
Not really. I don't think, unless you tell me what specific information. So we have the boards. You have the board of directors here. So this is the board of directors for a specific company, and you have their title. So what are we looking?
So we can go to the next question. I'm sorry, you could stop.
The corporate actions and
yes,
dividends
corporate.
is here. So you can explore corporate actions. So like, for example, here, there's just meeting and not so much of it. Of course, it's a general meeting,
I see.
but it's here. So directors and ownerships, it's here. Directors and managers, it's here. You can look at advisors as well.
Thank you, Miss Alex.
You're welcome. Okay, Nova.
Yes, go to the next question. And Miss Alex, please could you stop screen? Mbak Putri?
I think I've
I don't know.
answered this.
You already answered this,
But
yeah?
the number 3 question, not yet. I
Okay.
tried to find corporate action. Oh, dividend. I think isn't it here? Corporate actions, dividends. Yeah. The same area. Yeah.
Mbak Putri stop dulu. Nanti Miss Alexa mencoba untuk menjawab nomor 3.
Isn't it the same here? The dividends and the corporate actions? Hello, whoever asked the question.
I got it. Yeah,
Okay. This is what you're looking for, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Exactly right. This is
Thank-
including the ex date and then pay date, cum date. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, here,
I got
this
it.
one.
I got it.
Okay. But there's a number 4 question, I think. What was the number 4 question, Bu Nova?
Yes, Mbak Putri bisa ditampilkan kembali untuk pertanyaan nomor 4 dari Mas Nuk. The 4th question, I try to looking for the day or month of these companies start to publish their financial report.
Oh, start to publish.
Mbak Putri bisa ditampilkan pertanyaan nomor 4 dari Mas Nuk.
You want to see the very first year that they published. That very first year. This one I don't think we have. We don't have that information, but we only have their incorporation date. So when they were incorporated, and we try to put as many as many financials that we have, but I don't think we really put there the very first year that they published their financial.
Oh, okay. So
But is it? But I'm sorry. Maybe I might be wrong. But is it, if let's say if they are incorporated, that is incorporated as a, they are immediately, it means they are incorporated immediately as a publicly listed company, right? So it should be after that year of incorporation. Am I just assuming?
no, I just know when this listed company the first time
That they publish.
they publish.
We don't have.
Oh, you don't have. Oh,
Because for example, for this Indonesian company, this PT Astra, it says that their date of incorporation is 1957. But whether or not they were already a listed company at that time and they published their financials, then I'm not sure. We don't have such information.
Okay. Even for the months?
Yes, we don't have the first year. But because most listed companies have been around for so long, right? I think we only know their incorporation date, and we try to get their data for the the oldest. But I don't think if they were already listed, like let's say very old American companies, most of them were already listed, publicly listed even in the year 1800s. I don't think we have that information when they published their first financial.
Yeah, thank you, Alexa.
You're welcome, Pa.
But you can add that from Miss Nook. You can add to Osiris, maybe one next maybe one day you can add that information.
That data. Oh yeah.
Okay, go to the next question. Answer question from Mr. Bobby Elias. Okay. Hi, Miss Alex. How do we find annual report on Osiris? Thank you.
Yeah, unfortunately, like earlier, I tried to show you, but apparently it is not part of your subscription. Okay. But the good thing is, I mean, I think the reason why you didn't this was not part of the subscription. Most of our clients who use Osiris, they feel that maybe they can just look for it in the company's website, right? Unless you're really looking for like annual reports from 10 years ago, because some companies, they don't really put in their website even their annual reports from 2010 or 2002. Usually they only put the latest 5 years of annual reports. But yeah, maybe we can consider this next time, the annual report module.
Oke, Miss Alex. Oke, teman-teman masih ada yang memiliki pertanyaan? If you have any question, just raise your hand and Miss Alexa will answer right away. Jika ada yang masih memiliki pertanyaan, silahkan. Kita masih memiliki waktu sampai jam 10:05. We still have a time until 10:05. So if you have any question, just raise your hand. Masih adakah teman-teman yang memiliki pertanyaan bisa langsung disampaikan ke Miss Alexa. Oke, masih kita tunggu ya. Okay, one more question from no.
Research and development, it's available. Missing data.
Yeah.
Say whether listed company is not provided. Wait, yeah. Let me see. Because these are listed companies, so they should have it. We should have it. Osiris should have it. But if it's not there, then maybe it wasn't really provided. But again, as mentioned, there are two financial formats. So there is global standard. There's only 55 line items. I think let's try to search for global standard in the global standard first, and then make sure you unfold everything so that all the lines are available. Control F. Research and development, is it? R&D.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's NANA in the global standard format. Okay. Let me just, but this is for this company. But maybe let me try to find in the detailed format. Okay, because we have more line items, more detailed items in the detailed format, because this is a listed company. Yeah. But sometimes it also depends on the type of company, which industry they are. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely for this company itself is blank.
Yes.
But then you can send me an email. But this is just one company, but you need to check also, like this company, is it
Kalau mau disampaikan
Yeah.
is this company a type of company that needs to do research? If it is, then you can send me an email. I need to check why, because we can currently, I cannot check, but I can go into the annual report itself, because I'm using your access, the UGM access. I can go into the annual report itself. We can investigate why we don't have the research and development. It's an A here, but it depends on the company if they actually provided it. Definitely for other companies, then we have it. Right. So sometimes it depends on the industry, whether they do research for that type of industry or not also. But you can definitely email me anytime, especially if you think that they should have an R&D line item there, because this is the type of company that has to do research and development.
Okay, thank you, Alexa.
Okay, Pak.
Baik, teman-teman, tadi sudah dijawab dari Miss Alexa, pertanyaan dari Mas Nuk. Apakah ada pertanyaan berikutnya? Langsung saja raise hand, langsung nanti bisa dipraktekkan oleh Miss Alexa. If you have any question, we still have time. So just raise hand and Miss Alexa will answer right away. Bapak Ibu, jika masih ada pertanyaan, dan bisa juga mengirimkan pertanyaan langsung ke Miss Alexa. Tadi sudah memberikan kontaknya ya.
Yeah, this is my. You already have my email address, right? Let me just flash it again. Here. Okay. Two things. If your question is technical, like let's say, anyway, no need. I think I don't want to confuse you. Just email everything here. if it's something I can answer, I will answer you directly. I'll just let this team know that I will answer you directly. Also, if you're interested in other, maybe if you want to know more about other solutions that we have, because we have a lot of databases actually, you can check these 3 websites. We have moodys.com, bvdinfo.com, economy.com. There's a lot of solutions that we have available. Maybe you find another database that you think will be useful for UGM or for your research, and then you want to know more about it, then we can discuss about it. I think that's all for me, Nova.
Okay, Miss Alexa, thank you for your answer and sharing your experience and knowledge to us. I'm sure our audience has gained a lot of valuable insights from you today.
Yeah, I
Dan
hope
teman-teman,
so.
okay, thank you. Dan teman-teman jika masih memiliki pertanyaan nanti bisa langsung menyampaikan kepada Miss Alexa. Don't forget about jangan khawatir tentang bahasa karena kita bisa Google Translate juga. And jangan lupa juga kepada teman-teman untuk memberikan ataupun mengisi survei. Jadi kita akan untuk perbaikan event selanjutnya. Don't forget to fill the feedback form. And your feedback is important for us to improve our future events. Jadi sekarang sudah berakhir dengan berakhirnya sesi tanya jawab. And thank you once again, Miss Alex, for your kindness, for your wonderful insight today. And finally, I would like to thank you, you all for joining us today. I hope you have learned something new and useful from this workshop. And I'm sorry if I have any mistake from us. Thank you very much. Thank you once again, Miss Alex and everyone. And have a great day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Alexa, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oke, Bapak Ibu mohon untuk mengisi